We in it for the love of the sport. We the real McCoys, running the full court. We in it for the love of the sport.
Ain't that right?
We the real McCoys from the AFC North. We in it for the love of the sport. We the real McCoys, running the full court. We in it for the love of the sport. We the real McCoys from the AFC North. We in it for the love of the sport. We the real McCoys, running the full court. We in it for the love of the sport.
Ain't that right?
We the real McCoys from the AFC North. We in it for the love of the sport. We the real McCoys, running the full court. We in it for the love of the sport. We the real McCoys from the AFC North. We in it for the love of the sport. We the real McCoys, running the full court. We in it for the love of the sport.
Ain't that right?
We the real McCoys from the AFC North.
What's up and what's good and good afternoon. Sorry for the technical difficulties. This is your man Keith Allen and my man Ed in Columbus, and welcome to Loc'D On Sports 216 Snowy Saturday edition.
Yes, it is, Keith. Question. I'm always curious because obviously Cleveland is by the lake. How much snow do you guys got in Cleveland right now? Because in Columbus, it's maybe about 2 inches.
Like 21 Savage says, a lot.
Okay, better you guys than us. That's okay.
We got a lot. We got at least 6 inches. I'll say that. Yeah, we got pelted yesterday.
Wow.
Crazy part about it staggered at first, but then around mid-morning, like about 9, 10 o'clock, it started getting bad and everything. So we got buried with snow. But next week, it's going to be 40 degrees, so the snow going to be gone in about 3 days.
That's Ohio for you. That's Ohio.
Tell me about it. You experience all 4 seasons within 24 hours on any given day. Think about it. It was 60 degrees at Christmas. Go figure. And now next week it's going to be 45 degrees, so it's going to be back to fall again.
That cycle just...
Gotta love the Cleveland weather. You gotta love the Cleveland weather. Well, first things first, we're going to go to some captions and everything. We are an interactive show, so the chat lines are open. Feel free to holler at us. We got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about today. We're going to talk about the Cleveland Browns, some of their latest moves that they made within their coaching staff. And we're going to talk about a couple of Browns that got moved up into the Pro Bowl. Also, we're going to talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers and their winning ways. The Cavs, I think, have won 6 straight, something like that.
That is correct.
Winning ways. And we're going to have a discussion on the Cavs, too, about what should be done in the near future. Also, at the end, we're going to talk about the NFL divisional round of the playoffs. We're going to have the playoff picks. And I got a special treat for y'all if Restream operates with me today. I'm going to play for the first time during this show when we come off a commercial break. Well, I ain't going to say commercial break, but we're going to play for the first time during the show. I'm going to play the Loc'D On Sports 216 NFL Power Rankings. For this week, last team standing, NFL divisional round of the playoffs, the top 8.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, it's like that list is dwindling fast, and there will be 4 more knocked off the ledger for next week. 4 more knocked off the ledger for next week. Also, let me scroll down here a little bit. Let's see what I got here. Also, scrolling at the bottom is subscribe to the Allen Viz Media 2 YouTube channel. That's right, subscribe to the Allen Viz Media 2 YouTube channel. Like I said, the chat lines are open. Feel free to holler at us. State your opinion. We getting your talk and everything. We like to hear what you got to say.
Yeah.
Period. Period. Me and Ed like to hear what you got to say. We're an interactive show. And we love interacting with the folks.
And we have
Yeah.
obviously from that list that you just gave. This is a full packed show. But Keith,
Yes.
there's one thing that I implore that we must talk about. And obviously with Ed in Columbus, we have got to talk about the Ohio State Buckeyes football team. They have made some moves this past week with an offensive
Yes, they did.
some players. And I'm going to go into that a little bit. So,
Okay. Let me add that onto the list as well. Ohio State. I forgot all about that. You know, I'm up here in Cleveland.
They made a late move last night to their roster, and I'm really, really excited. And we'll get into that later on in the show. But
yes, sir. Ohio State making moves. Ryan Day said, forget this.
Yeah. You can't let Michigan win the Natty and not make moves the next year.
Ryan Day said, forget this. Matter of fact, let's go to the Ohio State thing first.
Wow. Okay, flip the script. Let's do
that. Let's go to the Ohio State thing first. First off, Ohio State making moves.
Okay.
Tell us, Ed.
Okay, well, first things first.
Going on?
It starts at the top. Obviously, athletic director Gene Smith will leave his post as effective July 1st this year. They have a new athletic director. Bjork is coming in, comes from Texas.
From Texas A&M.
Yeah, Texas A&M. And he looks like the real deal. A guy that, you know what, to be athletic director at the Ohio State University, it's all about the dollars. You have to be a guy that can raise a lot of money. This guy obviously can raise a lot of money. That's why he's got the job. Yes, winning matters, but without the money, the winning dries up quickly at any college program. And at Ohio State, that has all 36 intercollegiate sports. Unlike some colleges like Florida University, the Gators, they only have 19, but the Ohio State University is all 30. I think it's 37 actually. So even rowing and all that fun stuff, and we do it all at Ohio State, and you got to have the money to do that. But the biggest news, the two biggest moves, I would say, obviously came last night with Caleb Downs, safety from Alabama, coming in. Now, this guy is the real deal freshman of the year, basically, when it comes to the defensive side in the SEC. Going to be a real silver bullet, as I think they're going to get back to. And another move on the coaching side, and I give Ryan Day all the credit in the world. I think he's becoming like what Kevin Stefanski's doing. He's letting go of some tasks and some duties. Bill O'Brien coming in to run the offense. That is a major move. Bill O'Brien, we talk about the Penn State coach. We're talking about the Houston Texans offensive coordinator. We're talking about the Houston Texans coach. We're talking about the Bill O'Brien with the New England Patriots, a guy that even in Cleveland they were talking about maybe could be a possible offensive coordinator candidate under Kevin Stefanski's staff, but he comes to Columbus to run the Buckeyes offense. And I tell you what, the joke is, I don't know if it's a joke, I think it's a good thing. He doesn't run those bubble wide receiver screens, the things that Keith and I go crazy about. He runs a pro offense, and
sir.
Will Howard coming in, and everybody's coming back. Everybody's coming back to the Ohio State University. And then on top of that, you get a new offensive coordinator, Bill O'Brien. You get Caleb Downs coming. You get the Alabama center coming. You get all these portal transfers coming in, plus the regular guys coming back. Look, I said this. I tweeted this out last night, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a homer honking show for the Ohio State University, but they have to be the favorites going into next year to win the national championship.
Yeah, I would definitely think so, because you got Michigan, but they're losing a lot, and they might eventually even lose Harbaugh.
I think pretty soon, actually. He's interviewed with the Chargers. He's interviewed with a couple other teams, and him and Vrabel, I think, obviously, are the two biggest candidates with resume going forward. So I would think within the next couple of weeks, both of those will be head coaches again in the NFL.
Yes. So remains to be seen, but Ryan Day got to get it. I'm going to say this. Ryan Day has to get it done, because he will no longer have Gene Smith covering him. That's why these moves have been made. I think the one thing about Ohio State is that they've been knocked on not
ponying up the money with the NIL money to get in these transfer portal people. And now you look at this year, I think they probably done, if you look at the landscape of college football, they've made the most moves. They made the biggest moves. And obviously they're selling out the cash. And let's be real, Ryan Day's seat is hotter than hell. Okay. It's got to be hotter than hell, you know?
Heck yeah, it's got to be hotter than hell. We ain't won it in 10 years. Yeah. It's got to be hotter than hell. And you got to think about it. It ain't like he's had the poorest of quarterbacks either.
No. He said CJ. We'll get into it too as we'll get into the NFL talk. But he had CJ Stroud for 2 years.
Yes. Yeah. And CJ gave him really the best chance winning.
Yeah. Had Justin Fields went to the national title game. I mean, obviously that Alabama team that crushed them 52-24. I get that. But at the same time, Ryan Day, he gets the elite quarterbacks past year with Kyle McCord, and I think he's trying to do that again. But you look at it too. I think with the defenses, they've gotten better the last 2 years. But getting Caleb Downs, getting all of them to come back this year. The whole Michigan thing was we can't stop them. And I think it's less of what we're bringing back more into what Michigan's losing. I think that'll be the reason why we beat Michigan. Now, winning the national title is a different thing. I think that's why the guys they brought in is to win the national title. The guys that came back were the guys that beat Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah, because he has to beat Michigan this year. He can't lose to them.
Well, he
can't lose to them 4 in a row. He can't possibly do that. Because, see, here's how it went. The first year they lost to him, it was like, okay, it's about time they finally beat us.
Right.
The second year was like, okay, how? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. How? We have a better team. We had a better quarterback. It was in Columbus, like you said. Now, this past year,
Michigan was better.
Michigan was better. And wasn't no hardball either on the sidelines.
Right.
And that's what didn't make it look good either.
Right. That's the optics of it, but it's still a hardball coach team. You're still running this. It's one thing that he's not. It's just like Stefanski when he's in the basement when he had COVID against Pittsburgh. It's still his team. Like, I understand the optics that he's not there, but let's be real. What Sherrone Moore? It's not like he deviated and said, "I'm going to do my own thing to beat Ohio State." I mean, they still ran the same plays.
Harbaugh would have had his hit dudes come on that sideline to him like, "Hey, what is you doing?" So Ryan Day got to get it done this year. Matter of fact, I'm going to be honest. There's a couple of coaches in Ohio that's under the gun this season. And we're about to get to it.
I love the tease. Right.
We're about to get to it because it's about to get interesting, folks. The Cleveland Browns. But let's hope Ohio State can get it done, and let's get some more people. Some more people. Because the thing with Ohio State was when they lost to Michigan, the defense, the last 2 years, really, the defense didn't do what they were supposed to do.
No, that's correct.
So I don't think the offense is the problem. I think it's more on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, they don't got a guy stealing signs anymore. Okay, I said it. I'm done now. Keith, we're moving on. I appreciate you for doing this Ohio State thing. You're going to get me in trouble here. I think we nailed it here, but then you're going to bring back this past season, that past couple of years, and I'm going to run off the rails here, and it's probably better we move on.
Yeah, it's water under the bridge. But hey, so far so good, Brian Day. But let's move on to the Brownies since we got the field right in back of us. The Cleveland Browns, after getting pummeled and humiliated and smacked around, got sent home with a wedgie against the Houston Texans last week in the playoffs, made some coaching moves. Interesting. Gone, our offensive coordinator who calls no plays, Alex Van Pelt. Gone is running back coach Stump Mitchell. And gone is the tight ends coach. I don't even know his name.
TC something. I don't know.
Okay, TC something.
See ya. Bye.
Now, let me tell you this, and this is what gets me. But I'm gonna have a different take on this and everything. First, what you think about the moves? And I'm gonna ask you first.
Okay, well, I think to be, snarky, the defense gives up that many points in Houston, and you fire 3 offensive coordinators. Okay, an offensive unit that had gone through 5 different quarterbacks still had 11 wins. Okay, so it is kind of like suspect to me that that's the side of the ball that you want to make changes on. But I think this has more to do with Watson and the development of Watson. I think Kevin Stefanski, like Ryan Day, had a come to Jesus moment where they realized that, doing it their way is not a way that maybe is quick enough to accelerate the process. Like, I think Ryan Day, he knows he has to beat Michigan. He knows he has to do this, and this. And he thought, okay, Bill O'Brien comes in. We get out, I'm saying, we're going to do things differently in Columbus because we need to, next year is the year. I think Stefanski realizes next year is the year. The Browns made the playoffs. They got 11 wins. It's not about the winning percent. But let's be real. First couple games next year, if Deshaun Watson doesn't look like the elite Deshaun Watson, not only are people going to get on Deshaun Watson for it, they're going to blame Kevin Stefanski. Like, you're this offensive guy we brought in. You're supposed to, you made Baker Mayfield look good. You made these 5 quarterbacks this year kind of look good. Why can't you get this Maserati, this sports, look good? And then I think it's going to fall on Stefanski. And I think he realizes that. And I think that AVP, he didn't call plays anyways. I made a joke that he actually has more responsibilities in getting fired than he did when he was actually on the staff, which is, but I think that also too, like Stefanski is, I don't know. He still might call the plays, but I think he's looking for a different voice, somebody that knows how to use Deshaun Watson a little bit more productively, like they got out of the Deshaun Watson Houston days.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's my take on that because it's weird. You give up a shitload of points and you fire the offense like they threw the pick sixes, like they threw the. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand. I don't know.
I'm gonna say this. And I'm gonna be quaint and I'm gonna be honest. I didn't feel the moves, honestly. But that being said, I totally understand the moves. And here's why. Think about this. 4 years ago, when Stefanski first came, he had Baker Mayfield, right? He also had a receiver by the name of Odell Beckham. And for some reason, Odell and Baker just couldn't mix. But guess who got the blame? It was Odell's fault. It was Odell's fault, right?
Even though he got over 1,000 yards, I mean, he did.
Yeah, it was Odell, but he got that 1,000 yards with Freddie Kitchens.
Freddie Kitchens, that's correct. That is correct.
Freddie Kitchens knew how to get the ball to Odell and Jarvis Landry.
Can't believe I'm giving Freddie Kitchens props right now.
And Baker Mayfield threw for like close to 4,000 yards that year.
Oh, jeez.
Now, let's roll into year 2 of Kevin Stefanski. Baker gets hurt. And Baker actually was on his way to having a pretty solid year until he got hurt. You can agree with me on that. But for some reason, the synergy with him and Odell just couldn't work. And then when Odell's father shared the video of the times that he was open and everything, and
he was open a lot, Keith.
I know.
Okay.
The onus was placed on Odell. It was Odell's fault. He was the team divider and everything. But this same team divider went to the Los Angeles Rams later on that year and won a Super Bowl and probably would have been Super Bowl MVP had he not get hurt. Then fast forward to that, he's played a pivotal role with the Baltimore Ravens this year, coming off injury.
Yeah.
And he did that in limited moments this year, if you really think about it.
He burned our ass for a 40-yard touchdown.
He looked pretty good to me, but yet Kevin couldn't seem to make it work. But yet Kevin escaped the fire. He escaped the Baker fire. Everybody was looking at Mayfield like he had 2 heads. So Browns get rid of Baker Mayfield and bring in Deshaun Watson. Now, Watson it's like the toy that Stefanski got, but since Stefanski been a bad boy, he got put on punishment. Couldn't have Watson for 11 weeks, even though they thought it was going to be 11 weeks. And it just didn't look right that year when he did come back. You could put a lot of it on Rust, and you also could put a lot of it on Stefanski. But guess who got the bullets fired at him? Deshaun. So it's forwarded to 2023. The Browns. We heard in training camp that they had this new electric offense. Deshaun even talked to him over the offseason. They had this new electric offense everybody was talking about where Elijah Moore was going to be the Swiss Army knife and everything. But you probably seen it maybe a couple of times or two, maybe during the Cincinnati game. But you really couldn't judge on it because it was actually a bad weather game.
Yes.
But the Browns won. Then against Pittsburgh, everything went to hell because Nick Chubb got hurt.
Correct.
And Deshaun probably had his worst game as a pro that game. Just honestly, because.
Right.
But for some reason, it just didn't click.
Right.
And you know who took the bullets for that?
That would be Deshaun Watson.
Boy, did he. He took a fire. And then you bring in DTR. DTR wasn't prepared to play that game against Baltimore, which I find hard to understand because Deshaun Watson evidently didn't take no snaps that week.
I know, right. Right.
So how can this dude not be prepared to play when it's a chance that your quarterback might not even play?
Yeah, he took a majority of the snaps. I mean,
Okay. And you've seen what happened.
it wasn't pretty.
So fast forward, DTR. So they said, forget that. We're going to go to PJ Walker.
Your favorite.
PJ Walker, how can I say this?
He's exciting. Every time he throws the ball, it could get caught by your team or the other team.
Yeah, it's like a jump ball.
Right, exactly. It's a 50-50 ball.
It's like a jump ball. He might have a future as an NBA ref.
Yeah, that would work. Okay.
But PJ Walker didn't look too great. And so then they brought back DTR. Deshaun Watson. Let me take that back. Well, Deshaun Watson came back. And the Indianapolis game, he didn't have it. PJ Walker, in a way, saved them, if you want to say.
He did that throw. He
saved them.
He made one good throw, and it was different.
Yeah, but you enter Joe Flacco into the conversation. Flacco, you got the good and the bad. A lot of people were shocked in the playoff game that he threw interceptions, but
we were not. We were not.
I wasn't. I've been saying it for the last 5 weeks that he was.
I only thought one, but when he did two, I'm like, oh no, we're in trouble. I knew one.
It was in his ammo, and think about the teams that they played. Think about it. When Flacco came in, they played Jacksonville, right?
Yep.
Now, that game should have been a whitewashing, but the Browns' turnovers kept Jacksonville within distance.
Bears game as well.
The Bears game, they actually should have lost that game.
Yeah, they should have.
If they would have had any inkling of offense, they would have lost that game.
That's correct.
The Jets, you don't fear Trevor Siemian.
Never have.
And it was somebody else they beat. The Bears, the Jets, Jacksonville. Who else?
Oh, it was.
Who else did Flacco beat?
Okay, because the first game was the Rams, and then he lost that game.
And think about this with the Rams game. That game was anybody's ball game until Flacco threw that pick.
Yeah.
And then it went off the rails real fast. So basically, long story short, the Browns were winning with smoke and mirrors because some they were playing some inferior teams, just being real.
Yeah.
And think about this, the defense kind of held them down most of the season. Most of the season. So the thing comes in where with Stefanski with his coaching staff, what the hell was going on during the week you was preparing for the Houston game that this team didn't look like they was ready to play?
I don't know. That's $1 million question, Keith. I don't know.
And remember when I asked you on We Like Sports Show, do you think they should extend Kevin?
Yeah. I mean,
And and I'm just saying this, that now that finger is starting to get pointed at Kevin. Because you look at it against Houston, you can lose that game, but you can't get your ass beat, whitewashed in front of everybody, where you're the only show in town in front of the whole country.
29 million viewers, the fourth most watched wild card game that weekend. So yeah, it
And
wasn't good.
all them people got is a memory of the Browns getting their ass whooped and the Browns being the old Browns. Same old Browns. That'll be the narrative.
But that's why I don't understand. I don't understand. I guess my thing is still with all the offensive questions that you're raising, which you're totally right. And now you're putting the blame on Stefanski. I felt like Stefanski did let Schwartz call a defense, and then, let's be real, Schwartz's defense. We were never going to stop Houston's offense, and I don't. We're not ready to play. Like I put actually more of the blame on Schwartz than I do Stefanski in that game.
But here it is also. Even though I don't agree on this part, that game against Houston is kind of a game that, how can I say this? You might have to control the tempo of the game more. And I think the Browns lost their way in the first half where they tried to get in a shootout. Yeah. But you know this man is capable of throwing a pick at any given moment. And sometimes, let's just be real and honest, defense might not have it that day.
Well, on the road they did. They gave up like 30 points on the road and only 10 at home. So
yeah, they didn't have it that day. And sometimes your offense gotta pick it up. And our offense just blew it up. Blew it up. They didn't. And like I said, I got mixed emotions about the moves because Van Pelt wasn't calling the plays.
What did he do? Like what seriously? Because it's a Stefanski system. What did AVP actually really do?
And Stump Mitchell had to go with what he had.
Yeah, which wasn't much because you're not a big Jerome Ford fan.
No. Honestly, and I think Kareem Hunt should have been featured more within the Browns games, period. I'm just going to be honest. I'm not a Jerome Ford guy because I think Jerome Ford, as a running back, you can't keep taking 2 and 3 yard losses, then depending on you hitting the home run.
Right.
He's like a dude batting 197, but he got 25 home runs.
Yeah, and we've seen that in Cleveland, so we know. Yeah,
we've seen that. So and I think. And honestly, I don't think it's a Stefanski move. Because think about it. Ed, if you own the Browns or if you was in the Browns front office, would you have liked what you seen last Saturday?
No, I think to your point, I think that if your argument, and I think what your argument is saying that we needed a more ball control, we needed to run the ball more, but then you look at the horses that we have in Jerome Ford and maybe Stump Mitchell, maybe it's just time for a different voice when it comes to the running game. It's not even an indictment on him. I think he was
just a casualty of war.
Yeah, I think so too. And also too, like if you are changing your offense, because I do think they are changing their offense a lot more than what they have in the last 2 years. Then I know they're going to probably keep the zone, but you're gonna have to implement what they did in Houston, and I think they're looking, especially Andrew Berry. I think these moves aren't just the fan. I think it is more about them working together, the front office, and seeing that they love their analytics and things. And I think that analytic people, when they change something, they don't just change one thing. It's more of a system change, kind of. I think.
Yes, and I think honestly now, can I say this? They want to make moves to maximize Deshaun Watson the best that they can.
That should have been priority from day one. Like, you don't just get some Deshaun Watson. They should have did that this year.
But my only question is, those shouldn't have been the only ones let go. How in the world is Chad O'Shea still with a job? And the receivers, yes.
They were horrible.
Wide receivers, passing game coordinator, now receivers besides Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore, who was average, were horrible.
He should have gone too.
And think about it. They done drafted a receiver the last 3 years and haven't amounted to nothing.
Yeah, I agree.
Schwartz, nothing. Bell, nothing. Tillman, he doesn't even run his routes correctly.
Nope.
Nothing. And don't even run through the routes.
Nope.
Nothing. And here we go. And think about this. Stefanski hasn't gotten that extension.
I know. I'm wondering about. You would think there'd be more talk about it, or more people like whispers and rumors, but you've heard nothing about it. I mean,
and think about this, Ed. They probably told Stefanski, "Look, your days of calling plays are done.
Hopefully,
are done." And then especially because you got to look at it. If you're in the owner's box and you see your team get whitewashed by a team with a rookie head coach, a rookie quarterback, a rookie mainstay on their defense,
Anderson,
and you got whitewashed in front of everybody, you got your ass slapped in front of everybody. It was the only game in town.
That's yep.
That nobody's safe after that one. And people are like, well, he did it with 5 quarterbacks and all that.
No, there was only one quarterback. See, that's what I'm going to, Keith, I need 20 seconds to rant here.
Go ahead.
Everybody that says that about you got your ass kicked with the quarterback that everybody loved, Flacco, wacko for Flacco. This was your guy, Cleveland. Oh my God, the White Knight came in to save the season, and we got our ass kicked. So stop saying there's 5 quarterbacks. That doesn't matter. One playoff game. It's a different season. The regular season different than the postseason. And Cleveland, you crapped the bed here. You did. The coaching staff crapped the bed. It's fine that you made the playoffs, but stop saying, well, Stefanski did it with 5 quarterbacks. You got your ass kicked in the one game that mattered the most. Stop this crap. And with the quarterback that everybody in Cleveland, including myself, fell in love with. But the only difference is I wasn't stupid. I knew he was going to throw an interception. I didn't think too. So stop it with that. That's a wrong narrative. And if you use that argument, you're just stupid and you just don't want to admit the fact that we got out-coached. The coach of the year got out-coached by who should be the coach of the year, D'Amico Ryans.
That's the Ed I like.
Thank you. I needed that.
See, that's the Ed I like. That's why we on Loc'D On Sports 216.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Giving the real unadulterative opinions.
Thank you.
But you're right. Everybody fell in love with Flacco. And I'm going to say this. Jimmy made the move, but it's also another power broker in the house on top of that a lot of people don't want to hear.
Please don't say it. Say it.
Deshaun Watson.
Well,
he's up on that pecking order.
He deserves to be, though. He deserves to. That's
exactly.
When you're the franchise quarterback and your offense is built around, whether you like his play or not, he has to be the guy in the sole focus of the Browns. If you're not building everything around him, why did you trade for him?
Because think about this. Could you imagine if you were coaching Allen Iverson and you told him never to run the fast break?
It'd be a waste. Then what's the point of having an undersized guard then? What is the point?
And I'm going to tell you what the Browns front office is thinking. They know a year like this that just transpired regular season is normally non-sustainable.
Yeah, I would agree.
Normally, because usually when you play 5 quarterbacks, you're 4-13.
Yep.
You're 3-14.
Yes.
You're 5-12. You just really had a strong defense, and you also took advantage of playing a last place schedule.
My son told me he's looking at the
And the
schedule next
AFC
year and their
North.
opponent, and he saw our schedule next year and the opponents, and he said he's like, Dad, he's like, we got a tough schedule next year. I said, that's what happens when you win. I said, that's why teams in the NFL sometimes go up and down because it's not sustainable unless you have a franchise quarterback that you build a system around that's sustainable. See, it's Deshaun Watson sustainable. Don't matter who your schedule is, but if you're still trying to find the right offense for him, and look, let's be real, Stefanski. Look, if you want to be coach of the year and you haven't figured out Deshaun Watson in year 3, this is year 3 because you had him the first year. I know only for 6 games, but he was in the building. You had him this year, and now you're going into next year. This is the 3rd year. If you can't figure out an offense for him, then it's time for you to go. Sorry.
And you know who's smiling about this? Because somebody else had questioned the offense too. They're still playing. And who's going to be up in Detroit tomorrow.
Oh, jeez, I know. I didn't want to say. I knew. I didn't want to go there, but
probably your NFL comeback player of the year, Baker Mayfield. He questioned the offense. He did. He questioned the offense. He felt that he should be in his strengths more.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Than how he was used.
Well, he has a right to when you're.
And I'm also going to bring this point up. Stefanski's 1-2 in playoff games, correct?
Yes.
But technically, he's 0-2.
Well, he wasn't at the physical site of the playoff game.
Thank you. And they're looking at Kevin like, well, what in the world happened? Like I said, the Browns could have lost this game, but you don't get boat raced.
It's the fashion of the loss. That's what.
Yes. It's the fashion of the loss that made it all bad. And
my ass still, Keith, I'm a Browns fan, and my ass still hurts from the ass kicking, and I didn't even play.
Now, because I'm going to tell you, whoever they bring in as offensive coordinator probably going to be a high-powered name. And I doubt if anybody going to accept the offensive coordinator position with cachet just to accept it, just to sit there.
Right.
And not call plays.
Well, that's like the Bill O'Brien thing for the Buckeyes. I think Brian Day said, Bill O'Brien, this is your offense. You know, Bill O'Brien is not taking a job unless he has total control over it. And kudos to Brian Day for giving him that. And Kevin Stefanski, you need to do the same thing. But check your ego to the door and give the
and I think during the evaluation process, because they evaluate and they had those evaluation meetings at the end of the year, they probably told Kevin, they said, Kevin, you're a good coach, but if you want to continue coaching, you're going to have to give up play calling.
Well, that happened. Speaking of, it's funny. 1988, Marty Schottenheimer. We lost the Houston Oilers in the wild card game. Art Modell went to Marty Schottenheimer and said, "You need to hire an offensive coordinator." Marty said no. He got fired and went to Kansas City the next year.
Yeah, and I'm just telling you, I think that's what it is. Okay. Like, because we got to get the best out of our quarterback that we can get, and they got to get him some. They got to get him some things to work with too. Got to get him another wide receiver that can go over the top.
Well, let's play. If you look at all the teams that are still left in the NFL, they got their quarterback. Texans with Stroud, Lamar Jackson, Jordan Love. You name Purdy. You name all the teams that are still playing. It's not their backups. It's not. Oh, they had 5 quarterbacks and they made the playoffs. No, they got their franchise quarterback and they're rolling. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have our franchise quarterback. We've never got our franchise quarterback right. Until we get that right, I don't know if we can actually be considered a legitimate perennial contender. Like, yeah, we made the playoffs this year. We could be 6-11 next year if we don't get this thing solved.
They figured, the front office figured we did it with smoke and mirrors. So it was a miracle.
Yeah.
It was a total miracle and a total outlier. Think about it.
Yes.
They lost that and Nick Chubb. So And I think the game is going to be more tailored to Deshaun's likes and what he's comfortable with.
Why wouldn't it always have been that way? I think there's too many guys with egos. These coaches, I mean, they talk about the players and we talk about I think these coaches, some of them have egos and they're more stubborn than these players are. And then they need to realize, that's one thing about Jim Tressel. You can say what you want about him, but he adapted. He had Troy Smith. He had just, what I'm saying? Like you recruit the best talent and then you work with the talent and their strengths. You don't try to change them. Okay.
Yes. It's got to work this year because Kevin might be in trouble this year.
Do you think he gets I guess now it comes down to, does he get an extension? Now, technically, he's got one more year left on his deal, right?
Yeah, he got this year.
So does he get the extension? Or is he a lame duck going into this year?
All depends on what the Browns do this year.
I think it's going to be interesting, and I think that if he doesn't get one in the next couple of weeks, I mean, I don't know. I just think that if you're not going to do it now, I don't think it's like the Baker thing. You're probably just not going to do it, right?
Just not going to do it because they're looking. Because I'm telling you, when you lose 45-14, nobody's happy.
Yeah.
Nobody's happy, especially when you're the only show in town in front of everybody.
Such a feel-good story. The Browns make the playoffs, 5 quarterbacks, and then you just get shellacked like the way that they did. And this number one what did the number one defense get you? It got you your ass kicked in a first-round exit. That's what it got you, essentially.
Yeah. Then when your offense is, and this is what's telling, and this has probably sparked it a lot. Remember what D'Amico Ryan said when he told his linebacker to stay right there on that 4th and 2. They basically knew what the Browns was going to run. It's predictable.
Yeah, well, they need, like I said, they need a new voice on their offense. They need something different. And
yeah.
Oh, geez, Keith. You know what? As fun as the season is, you know what? I would rather have this real talk, though, because there's a lot of Browns podcasts and things that they're going to be saying, oh, what a great season it was. We finally made the play. That's loser talk. Now, Keith, I need another 20 seconds to have a rant. If you're a Cleveland Browns fan and you're going to say, oh, I'm so proud of this team and they had 5 different quarterbacks and what a great season, that's loser. You're a loser. If the goal is to get to the Super Bowl, that's the goal. And we had a chance. How many people before this playoff started? Oh, Will Flacco's going to go on a run. This is a magical season. I could see us making a run. And now all of a sudden, now that we got our ass kicked, we're like, oh, it was such a great regular season. You can't have it both ways. Either it was successful or it wasn't. Successful regular season, I agree. But you know what? Successful season? Hell no, it wasn't. You got your ass kicked. Now make some changes and come back next year. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sick of it. So stop it with this loser mentality. Cleveland, you fall into it all the time. You love mid players. You do this all the time. Even back in the 80s, you elevate these guys like they're some gods or something. They were mid. And you didn't make it to the Super Bowl. John Elway, he's elite. Bernie Kosar, I love you. You're above average to good. We're great. And you know what I'm saying? So stop it.
Hey, I've been saying that all along. It's like the city of Cleveland Browns fans, Cleveland fans, period, fall in love with the mid players. Yeah. Can you actually believe that people were mad that the Cavs had traded Cedi Osman last year and Lamar Stevens?
Oh, my God.
Like, really? We're going to get to the Cavs later on. Yeah. But also, the Cleveland Browns also found out that they got 2 more Pro Bowlers. What little does that mean now? They don't really play the game. Shout out to JOK, Jeremiah Aruso Kouamoa.
Yes.
And offensive guard Wyatt Teller, both being named to the Pro Bowl. They were both alternates. But in lieu of injuries, they both got named to the Pro Bowl this year. Shout out to them being the total number of Browns in the Pro Bowl, 7. That's another thing also. When you got 7 Pro Bowlers, you shouldn't be getting beat 45-14 in the playoffs. And that's what people are not seeing. They're saying, okay, all right, you got, how can I say, okay, your quarterback is out, but you have Flacco mania. Right. You got an experienced quarterback. So why are you getting beat 45-14?
Right.
And you got 7 Pro Bowlers. Kevin didn't have them boys ready to play. That's on the coaching staff right there.
I'll never understand that. I don't understand that. Especially, love CJ Stroud, but you can't let a rookie just annihilate you like he did. And you know what, Keith? They talk about, if Flacco didn't throw this or Flacco didn't throw that. Yeah, Flacco was horrible. The offense looked bad. But let's be real. Did you ever think from the defensive side that we're going to really stop them? Like, I know we had 1 3 and out the kind of the beginning of the second half, but I was not confident that we were going to ever get back in the game, because I thought that at will they could march down the field at will.
Yeah, it was one of those things where really, in a sense, you can actually say the game might have been lost in the first half.
I kind of agree. Yeah.
And the failure to make adjustments and stuff like that. Because think about it. Usually with Nico Ryans, it should have been where Schwartz or Ward or somebody say, I got this dude no matter what. Wherever he goes, I go. Then also think about this. Myles Garrett, during the season, he moved around. Yeah. This game, he was stationary. He was stuck with his dance partner,
Laramie Tunsil, yeah.
Like I said, the coaching staff lost this game more. The coaching staff,
I agree. I would agree with
Browns down more than you would say to players. Because think about it. You down 24-14, you can make adjustments.
Yes.
And get back into this game. And despite the defense having a bad game, they did get a stop in that second half, which gave them a chance to get back in that game.
Flacco said, not today. Here you go.
Flacco woke up and said, wait a minute, where my purple at?
Yeah.
Forget this.
Beat the Browns. He knows how to beat the Browns.
Right. Forget this. We might not can't beat y'all, but I know my predecessor can. But like I said, you got 7 Pro Bowlers. You shouldn't be losing 45-14. Yeah, not to a rookie quarterback and a rookie head coach. So no one's happy in Berea right now. No one's happy. No one at all. No one at all. Well, we going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we going to talk about the Cavs and their winning ways briefly. And we going to talk about the NFL playoff picks here on Loc'D On Sports 216. And wait a minute, I got to take something. I got to take a caption off. On Loc'D On Sports 216, and we'll be right back.
So unique at 24 Karat Chocolate's Boutique, where she specializes in custom, handmade, professional t-shirts and hoodies for any occasions, uniforms, puzzles, and towels, and much more. Now don't take my word for it. The work speaks for itself. Let that be the new trendsetter. Customize the way you like it, either for family reunions, gender reveals, graduations, or just a graphic tee. At 24 Karat Chocolate's Boutique. Go and check her out at 1-937-360-4386 or log on at 24ktchocolates.info.
Want combat? I'm on that real quick. Iron Dragon with my sword. Lord, I'm so slick. Mano y mano, hand-to-hand combat. I suggest you go ahead, read my stats, homie. I'm all that. Mr. Hands of Death, repeat my martial skills. I embark my will until it's fulfilled. You like a mannequin on the ground laying still. For real, I go home, meditate, circulate, cheat, practicing, sitting still. I yell out, get out. Today's not the day. I yell out, get out. Today's not the day. Don't let it ring out. Spill out. Better go on your way. Don't let it ring out. Spill out. Better go on your way.
Yo, we're back. Locked On Sports 216 with me, Keith Allen, and my man Ed in Columbus on a snowy Saturday, depending on where you are. Y'all ain't got no snow down in Columbus, do y'all?
2 inches, but it's melting. The sun's out, it's melting.
You want to trade?
No.
I give you our 6 inches. You take the 2. You take the 2 inches. You show?
Nah.
You show. Anyway, don't order those t-shirts by Chocolate's Boutique. Specializes t-shirts, just about anything, everything, and then some. She specializes in. She does. Also, don't forget, don't sleep on them comic books. Iron, what's that? Iron Dragon comic books. Katanda Films, Katanda Studios. Don't sleep on those. Order those. Definitely. And also, like I said, getting back to the show, the chat lines are open. Feel free to chime in. We've now changed the background to the basketball court and everything, as we're going to talk about the Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers have won 6 straight games after they annihilated the Milwaukee Bucks, but they didn't have Giannis. 135-98, something like that.
95, I think 135. It was a 40-point win, I think 135
Yeah.
95.
Yeah. Or just Niang scored 33. That dude was unconscious.
Yeah.
He was unconscious. But right now, the Cavs are about to go on a 4-game road trip starting tonight in ATL to take on the Atlanta Hawks. And then they got 2 games in Milwaukee. And I think Giannis will be there to those 2 games.
I think he'll be at least there for one of them. Absolutely.
Yeah. But we'll see how we stack up against them.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing about the Cavs, because a lot of people think about it, the Cavs kind of, like I say, JB and them kind of stumbled onto something with this team. If it weren't for all the injuries.
It's like the Browns. I think they, one thing about the Cats were kind of stagnant. They came into this year after, having a 51-win season. Unfortunately, they lost to the Knicks, so that was disappointing. But they came in with high hopes, and I think that started out kind of stagnant, and, they were around 500. Then some injuries happened, and I think it allowed JB Bickerstaff to get creative with the offense, and I think it made the role players better, and I think you're seeing a more complete team. And I think that when Garland comes back and with everything, hopefully it doesn't stop the momentum that we've kind of built up over these last 10 games.
Yeah, and it's going to lead to some interesting things because people have been talking about how are they going to go back to playing when Garland and Mobley comes back? Do they go back to the 2 bigs, or do you stagger the bigs together or whatever, like take one out or something, you know what I'm saying, and still go 1 through 4. It's going to be interesting.
I think, with everybody getting more playing time, a lot of backup players, role players, seeing more court time, I would hope in a perfect world that, that JB and it's also on the players as well. It's not, a lot of times people want to blame, if JB would do this, but it comes to the players buying in. If the players have bought in and have truly, matured as a team and gotten better because of the more playing time, like I said, for the role players, then it should be matchup wise. You're playing a team that has bigger bigs. You should be allowed to still have the 2 bigs in there. And maybe if things aren't going right, then you have the confidence to change your lineup because you've played multiple lineups now. See, that's the thing. There's really no excuse from, and I'm going to put this on the players. JB is had to manufacture these different lineups because of the circumstances. Now, if he puts in a lineup, they should have the confidence now and the ability and the trust with one another to execute that. So, I think actually JB's done one of his best coaching jobs. And I really think it's more on the players now. And if they go in there and they look stagnant and then he makes a change and it doesn't work, then that's on the players because they've handled it now for how many weeks now without Mobley and Garland. So I don't want to hear any excuses. I give JB props for what he's doing. And I think this Cavs team is fun to watch because you never know. They keep winning, but you never know how they're going to win. If anybody had on their bingo card that Georges Niang would score as many points as he did the other day in a game, I mean, let's be real. I don't think anybody saw that MJ performance out of him.
And think about it. The blessing in disguise was he actually found out Sam Merrill can play.
Right.
Greg Porter can play.
Right.
And now this team last year that was a weakness is more of a strength. They have more shooting. Even though
we have a bench now.
Yeah, we have a bench and we have way more scoring off the bench now.
Yes,
Because you
that
got
would
Levert averaging like 16 a game off the bench. Merle, since he's been getting playing time, has been averaging like 10 to 12 off the
right.
bench. And Porter, he's been averaging about 8 off the bench. And he's been steady at point guard
Yeah,
because he really doesn't turn the ball over too much.
that's the goal. Well, how many times early on when we were stagnant, not being around 500? Yeah, you had Garland making these spectacular plays, but also turning the ball over at an alarming rate.
And I'm about to get to that too.
Okay.
And also, you got Jared Allen, who's been playing lights out, double.
Yeah.
He's been playing lights out. And I think in order for the casting to work with Allen and Mobley in the lineup at the same time, Mobley's got to start getting a jump shot.
Yeah, yes. Like a little 15-footer, like even like Larry Nance had.
Yeah, like a 15-footer. Yeah, now I ain't saying that he got to shoot from 3 as of yet, but at least got to have range from 15 to 20.
Yeah.
Well, 15 just to start.
Yeah, can we just get that down and then we'll move it to 18 and then let's just start there.
Just start at 15 and go in steps and everything.
Yeah.
But Mobley has to step it up offensively and everything. So now a lot has been said as far as Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland. Can that backcourt work? I'm going to be honest. I don't think it's sustainable. But who would you pick to stay if one had to go and one had to stay?
Well, I would have to pick Donovan Mitchell because you see what this Cavs team is doing with Donovan Mitchell and these other guys. So I mean, Garland, I know you signed the largest contract extension in Cavaliers history, and look, you got paid. I'll never feel bad because you have more money than I'll ever have. But at the same time, you look at this Cavs team, and I don't want to disrupt the flow and what they got going. And I think Donovan Mitchell is that guy. And then like I said, I like what you said a couple minutes ago when you talked about Porter at the guard, because we don't need a guy that can score. We just need a guy that can facilitate the offense and then not turn the ball over. We don't need 2 studs at the 1 and the 2. We just need Donovan Mitchell at the 2 being that scorer, and we need a guy at the 1 that can get him the ball in the right opportunities. That's what you need, and give everybody else the ball in the right opportunities.
Yes. Because myself,
give me Mitchell, please sign the contract extension and make it easier for us.
Because I'm gonna say this: if I'm the Cavs brass, I will move heaven and earth to get Mitchell to sign on that dotted line. Heaven and earth, like, look, son, we'll build the team around you. Because you got to think about the Cavs in these last few weeks playing around Donovan. They play with more of a purpose.
Yeah, well, he's a dog. He's a different like Darius Garland. Like he's fun when he's on his game and things like that. But let's be real, Mitchell he's a dog. He's a different kind of player. He's more of an MJ, and he's less passive than Darius is. And I mean, if I'm going to build a team, look, I don't think it's hard to like see that he is a franchise type player that you would build around. I don't think that's
because me, myself, and not this ain't poo-pooing on Darius, because Darius is nice, but he's often injured.
That's an understatement.
And the team, when he's at the helm, personally doesn't have the umphness like they do now with Donovan Mitchell. Now, I don't think Donovan should be playing point guard.
No, he should be the 2.
He should be the 2.
Yeah.
But with Darius, I'd have to unload Darius, but that contract going to be hard to trade. And who's going to want a point guard that's often hurt?
I don't know.
Now, if the Cavs could facilitate a trade, like, say, with New Orleans or somebody where they can get Brandon Ingram, you got a squad that could probably contend.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because if you look at the Cavs right now, you say, okay, they 4th, but do you really see them making a push to get to the finals?
No. Boston and Milwaukee too strong.
And Philadelphia is looming behind, not too far.
No,
and if Philadelphia makes some moves, if Philadelphia can get a 3 or somebody that can score,
because we can't go to Embiid. He's too.
Yes. I mean, but like I said, I like Darius, but I don't know.
I
I
don't.
don't think that backcourt is going to work.
No, it's too small.
Yeah, it's too small, and neither one of them play defense like that. At
No.
least Donovan will try.
Right.
He'll try.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
Arias ain't playing no defense. He ain't playing no defense at all. And like I said, if they can get a point guard, like say I like Porter as the point guard of the future, but if they can get an experienced point guard about 6'4", 6'5",
I know.
they'll be tough.
And like I said,
They'll be
Brandon
tough.
Ingram would solve that because then you're getting a taller wing player that can. Yeah, that's what we've been missing for how many years? You know, that's
Yes, because. But we'll see. Stay
shout out
tuned.
to Isaac Okoro. I know he took a lot of flack, but he's been playing better late. Like I liked a lot of.
He's having the best season of his career this year.
Yep. So good to see. Good to see.
Yeah. Shout out to Isaac Okoro. Shout out to him. But like I said, the Cavs are 23 and 15. Was it 23 and 15?
24 and 15.
24 and 15.
Yep.
They play the Atlanta Hawks. They embark on a 4-game road trip. Good luck to the Cavs. Get that win tonight.
And the ATL. No freak Nick. But,
no freak Nick at all and everything. And which leads me to go to this and everything. I don't even got nothing to say about Cleveland State today.
Whoa. Okay. All right. Keith.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. They got a game this afternoon. They got a game this afternoon. But I think it's Indiana, Purdue, Indianapolis, something like that. About to find out on my cheat sheet.
Well, because we know the weather is like if I was going to say you're under the weather, and we know the weather's not exactly at the highest, you must be really, really sick. And then so Cleveland State, please do Keith a favor. The biggest Cleveland State fan I think there actually is. Get a win today against Indiana.
Yeah,
Purdue.
they play Purdue Fort Wayne today at 2:00 down at the Convocation Center at the Wolstein Center. Go support the Vikings if you want to be out there on the roads and everything and want to go see some basketball. Support Cleveland State. Vikings are like, how can I say, Jekyll and Hyde. They play one way at home and on the road.
Well, it's like the Browns defense. That's all.
True. But now it's time to get to what a lot of people been waiting for. Because you got to think about it. We still in football, so it's kind of hard for me to talk about basketball right now.
Yeah, right. But go Cavs, go Cleveland State, and but yeah, let's get back to the heart and the soul of this show, the NFL and the NFL playoffs.
Yes, sir. We're gonna get to the NFL playoffs. We got 4 games this weekend, 2 today. We get to the today games. Hold up. Let's see. Let me get that back up there. We get to the today games first because the first game today is quite interesting if you look at it. Even though Baltimore got the Houston Texans. Let me get that caption off of there. There we go. NFL divisional round playoff picks. Got the Houston Texans going against the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are playing their first game probably in Lord knows how long.
That's true.
And think about this. The Texans get to play both sets of Cleveland Browns.
That's true. Well, Well, to me, they're still
the new irrigation of the Browns, and they playing the Ravens and everything. Yeah. So, and the Texans are 9.5 point underdogs.
Wow.
Yeah. Who you got?
Well, I'm not going to be the point spread player. I'm just going to give you a straight up pick. I do think Baltimore is their year. Lamar Jackson. I mean, until he gets defeated. I mean, he's had a MVP Lamar. Give me the Baltimore Ravens 34-24 over the Houston. Maybe they do cover. You know what? I take that back. The 9.5. I think they win by 10, 34-24. I take that back. Ravens win 34-24 and cover the spread.
Okay. I think Houston probably make it a game in the first half. But I think the Ravens defense is going to grab. Because, see, the difference between the Browns defense and the Ravens defense, the Browns defense didn't touch C.J. Stroud.
Right.
This Ravens defense with, what's my guy name at linebacker, the middle linebacker? The guy from Chicago.
No, I know. I feel stupid because you keep saying it, and I can see. And I used to know the whole Ravens defense, and now like I'm
But anyway, the Ravens defense will reach out and touch you, even though Marlon Humphrey's not playing.
Yeah. Oh wow. He's okay. So he's out then. Okay.
Yeah, Marlon Humphrey's out.
Okay.
But I think the Ravens are going to pull it out, and I got the Ravens winning it 27-17.
Okay. Well, then they cover the spread then. So, I mean, Smith.
Roquan Smith,
yeah.
yes.
And he said that stuff about Cleveland early on this year, so I should have known that. So.
Roquan Smith, Javion Clowney.
Yeah.
They're going to touch C.J. Stroud today.
Yeah. Also, too, a point that the Browns didn't do, I thought that the Ravens did do more opportunistic defense. They get turnovers more.
Yes.
Yes. We don't get turnovers. We make plays and we get 3 and outs, but the Browns defense, if you look at it, is not exactly one of the best when it comes to creating turnovers.
Sure isn't. Yeah. Which is odd. We gave the ball away a lot.
Sure did that. Yeah, absolutely.
We gave it away. But going into tonight, in San Francisco, got the Green Bay Packers tonight. The Pack who kicked Dallas out the playoffs and said, Dak, don't you ever come back here again. Whooped their asses 48-32. San Francisco coming off a bye as well. And they're ranked number 2. And Baltimore is ranked number 1. So, Ed, who do you have?
Well, I think you got 2 teams that are probably, I would say, are the favorites to represent their conference in the Super Bowl, that being the Ravens and the 49ers. Give me the 49ers. Jordan Love, good story last week, too, by the way. Put up C.J. Stroud type numbers. But I think against San Francisco's defense today, I think that the story runs out for them. 49ers 27. Packers 20 in a game that 7 points, but I don't know if it'll be that close. I think the 49ers will always have the game in check per se. I think they'll play ball controlled offense. Shanahan, I don't think he'll do anything stupid. I think they have the horses to win the game. So I think they just get it done in the game. That's a kind of grind out win, good win, but nothing that's too spectacular, but survive in advance.
Yeah. It's going to be a good game. Show what he got in the first half, but I honestly think that San Francisco's going to advance, and they're going to win by a score of 34-23.
Oh, okay.
34-23. Brock Purdy going to electrify that defense of Green Bay's.
Yeah.
34-23. Do you know I went 1-5 last week?
Whoa.
1-5.
Which game did you get right? Which game did you get right?
I'm about to show you in a second.
Okay, because
this team didn't let me down, but I think they luck gonna run out this week.
Oh
no! Let me go back. Matter of fact, yeah, we're gonna go to that.
Okay,
we're gonna go to this because I even got this game wrong. I had the Rams beating Detroit, and I had Philadelphia beating Tampa Bay. But this week in Detroit, our neighbors, tomorrow afternoon at 3:00, you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Baker Mayfield going up to Detroit. And think about it. Remember when the Browns played Detroit and Detroit was horrible?
Yeah.
And Baker said he criticized Stefanski. Someone the offense was too conservative.
That's right.
He gets his next shot at Dan Campbell, and they lost earlier this year to Detroit.
Right. 20-6, I think, something like
that. Yes. Baker and them can do nothing on offense against them. Who you got, Ed?
Well, I think in the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion will not sleep tomorrow night. Give me the Lions 30, the Buccaneers 20. I think that Baker Mayfield, comeback player of the year, regular season. He had a good playoff game against, obviously, the Eagles in the first round. I don't think he'll have a bad game tomorrow. I just think that the Lions' offense is a little bit with Goff and everyone, their wide receivers, and St. Brown or whatever, Amir Ross. I mean, he's really good. And I think the Lions, I think that they're just poised. They got Dan Campbell. He's a kneecap fighter. He's a different animal. And I think that's what Detroit needed. They got some edge. The Lions finally got some edge to them a little bit. And that's kind of what they needed, So I think they will be in the NFC Championship game for the first time since 1993 when they lost to the Washington then Redskins with Mark Rippon, 42-10.
Yes. Me, I got the Detroit Lions winning. To be honest, if they was going to lose any game, it would have lost
been the
last
Rams
week.
game. Yeah,
it would have been the Rams game.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot going on. You had the Rams.
Yeah.
You had McVay.
Yeah.
Had a slight coaching edge over Campbell. And you also had Matt Stafford coming back. But this week, it's going to be Detroit 28-20.
Okay. I can see that.
28-20, which brings us to the last game of the weekend, which is in frigid Buffalo.
Ooh.
And Kansas City is the only team that didn't let me down last week.
Oh, wow. So, Keith, I got one question for you and one question only. Are you a Swiftie now? Are you a Swiftie because of that?
Hell no.
Fair enough.
No. But don't get me wrong.
Okay.
You got Kansas City going up against the Buffalo Bills. Ed, who do you have?
Well, this is strange. Okay, Kansas City and Buffalo playing in a meaningful playoff game is not something we have not seen over the past couple of years. So
it's like a tradition, though.
It's like a tradition, but it's weird that it's in Buffalo and not Kansas City. Mahomes.
This is his first ever road game in the playoffs.
Wow. So give me the Buffalo Bills. Circle the wagons. 31-27 in another epic showdown between the two teams. But I think that's the difference. I think Mahomes actually goes 0-1 in a road playoff game, his first one, and it's ridiculous that we're even. How many seasons has it been? I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, so kudos to Kansas City for getting it done in the regular season to have all those home playoff games. But I think that it's going to be a little bit too much. And here's the thing too, I would actually probably pick the Bills even if it was in Kansas City, because I just think Kansas City is missing another wide receiver. Actually, they're missing probably all wide receivers. I mean, let's be real. We talked about it throughout the year on Loc'D On Sports 216, and how much I thought this Kansas City team is something's not right about them. It's kind of the same thing I said about Buffalo, but they've kind of like circled the wagons and gotten it right. They run the ball now, and I think that's going to be the difference for Buffalo, and that's why they get it done 31-27.
Me, myself, the Swifties run comes to an end tomorrow. Okay. Tomorrow night. I got Buffalo winning. Buffalo winning 24-21.
Oh, classic. Looks like another classic game.
Josh Allen, just too much to deal with. And playoff Josh Allen is a lot different than regular season Josh Allen.
That's true.
And like you said, with the wide receivers of Kansas City, besides Kelsey and Rashee Rice, you don't fear nobody on their offense.
I don't actually fear anybody really on the Buffalo offense besides Josh Allen. And I know it's just something not right about both offenses. And I just think that Buffalo being at home, I just think that's the difference, kind of. Yeah,
that's the difference. I got Buffalo winning 24-21. It's going to be a hell of a game, though.
Yeah, well, that's all that matters. When your teams get eliminated, and we obviously both of us love the Browns, it's kind of like, why do we still love the NFL and watching? Because the NFL is like, it's the best show going around, and the games are close. It's like one thing about like college football. Sometimes you get these blowouts, but not in the NFL usually. Well, besides the Browns against the Texans,
right? Exactly.
And Dallas. Hey, Keith, we all know you like. What is it about?
I knew you was coming with it.
They look like the same team. You had Dak and Flack basically, giving the games away with their throws. And then you had both defenses looking horrible. The only difference was, I'll say, at least the Browns did it on the road. Dallas uncharacteristic.
Yeah, that's a worse loss
Yeah.
because a 7 seed never won before in the playoffs.
Well, Dallas said, here you go.
And Mike McCarthy is still staying. But honestly, I don't think this loss is on McCarthy. This loss is on Dak. And that defense didn't come to perform, dude. Dak threw 2 pick sixes.
Damn. I know, especially at home against. I mean, and the Green Bay has. I think Green Bay's defense is one of those defenses like Kansas City's underrated. I'll give them that. But
And think
not
about
enough
this.
to do what they did.
If you're Jerry Jones, you got to ask yourself, if we can't beat Green Bay now, what makes you think we're going to beat them in the future?
Well, that's why I thought they were going to go in. I thought they're going to fire McCartney and get Belichick. I really did, because to me, what does that team need? It obviously needs, I think, a new leader at the top. Because I think McCartney. I don't know, whatever. But at the same time, Dak. Now, Dak comes back next year. Do you give him an extension? What do you do with that?
I'll say this: if I was to extend that, you're not getting no $60 million.
No.
Because, dude, you ain't proved that you could do it with when the lights are on.
But his agent's going to say, look at these numbers in the regular season.
I'll be like, hey, Trey Lance, you better be ready to strap him up.
Whoa.
For real. Because, I mean, think about this. What's the use of going 12-5 every year and getting sent home?
Yeah. I mean, it's like
and in 2 straight years, you let a rookie outplay you. You let Brock Purdy outplay you, and this year you let Jordan Love outplay you.
Yeah, that's unacceptable, and but
Unacceptable.
I don't know.
And but McCarthy got some things to go on. He could say, "Hey, I didn't have an every down running back."
No, that's true. That is
You
true.
took that from me, and hey. We could have shortened the game. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there were times it looked like they were making a comeback, and then their defense would give up a big score.
Yeah. Dallas was never in that game.
No.
I fell asleep when it was 27-0.
So did the defense. You and the defense fell asleep.
I fell asleep. And I'm like, oh my goodness. No. But like I said, I wouldn't extend that for real.
Okay.
You got to show this year, 2024, you got to go to the Super Bowl. For real. Because think about this. If you go on all the quarterbacks in the NFC, you got Purdy. Rookie year got you to the NFC Championship game. And the only reason why they probably didn't go to the Super Bowl because Purdy got hurt. You got Jared Goff, got you to the Super Bowl when he was with the Rams.
Yeah.
You got Jalen Hurts, got you to the Super Bowl. Got Stafford in Los Angeles, got you to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Dak, we ain't got no farther than the divisional round. The divisional round. You think about it. The Cowboys haven't been to the NFC Championship game in almost 30 years.
Oh, was it 96 or whatever?
Something like that, yeah.
Wow.
So, like I said, I mean, you want to keep trotting? I ain't even going to go there. I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop. But, like I said, they might have to, I mean, Dak's good for what he is, the regular season.
Yeah. No, they don't give trophies out in the regular season.
No, they do not.
So Browns fans, but going back to my rant earlier on, they don't give out trophies.
No, they don't. And see, that's what the Browns fans that got, what's the name? It's like, oh, we had a good year and stuff. But in the end, and you can say what you say, whether you don't like the management, the ownership, or whatever, but every year your goal is to win the Super Bowl.
And if it's not, what are we doing?
Exactly. What are we doing if it's not? It's to win the Super Bowl every year. But I also want to say congratulations to Antonio Pierce
Oh yeah,
who
yeah,
got named as the head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders. Job well done. They got Josh McDaniels out of there. Oh.
yeah. That's a win right there. Yeah, he deserved it. Deserved it. The players bought
He
into
did.
him. He had
They
100%.
played, think about it, they played Raider football when
Yeah.
he came back as the coach.
They need to find a quarterback, though. They need to find.
Yeah, they do. They got to get that position right before anything.
Yeah.
And do you think would the Raiders take a shot at Russell Wilson
I don't know why not. Why not?
or Justin Fields?
Now Justin Fields. No, that you know what? Go to Las Vegas because that means you're not going to anywhere else like Pittsburgh or you know what I'm saying, because Justin Fields is very intriguing, and I think that wherever he goes next, I mean, I think he's going to revitalize his career. So do it in Las
Yes.
Vegas. Don't do it anywhere that could hurt the Browns even more.
Plus, you got Adams as your receiver,
That's a
and
sexy,
you got Jacobs as your running back.
If I'm Las Vegas, I'm making a play for Justin Fields.
Just don't let him go to Pittsburgh.
Right.
Don't let Russell Wilson go to Pittsburgh.
Right, that's kind of what I'm alluding to. Like, yeah, keep. I think the Mason Rudolph's your guy going forward. Keep.
Yes. And see, that's the thing. And that's the thing with the Browns. I realized, and they said next year Joe Burrow gonna be back.
Yeah.
And if Pittsburgh get a quarterback, watch out.
Right. Their defense and yeah.
So that's why they're not satisfied. Like I said, might not get the moves, but I understand the moves.
Right. Fair enough.
But how Todd O'Shea still got a job?
I don't know. That should have been the first firing.
That's what I said. I said it a few times. I like O'Shea should have been the wide receiver coach should have been let go. Our wide receivers is garbage.
And they didn't get better. I don't know. It's been like this for the past couple years, really.
Yes. What can you say? But anyway, that will conclude Locked On Sports 216. We may come on Thursday, probably come on Thursday or Friday.
Okay.
Come on Thursday or Friday. Saturday was a snow day, and I ain't feel like doing it on Thursday this past week.
Okay.
But
we like sports. We like sports is going to be on a special time. Tuesday at 6:30. Are you in, Keith? I need you in for the great debate.
In.
The great debate Tuesday will continue on. Continue on Tuesday.
Yes.
I think CJ's coming back, so we got CJ in. So that's always
okay.
Fun. Yeah.
Also follow the We Like Sports show on TikTok. And also follow the Locked On Sports 216 page on TikTok as well.
Nice.
Yes. And we'll see clips from the show on TikTok as well, or from both shows on TikTok.
Keith, what I'm going to do now is after today, is I'm going to clip up my rants and I'm going to send them to you to put on TikTok. So yeah.
Okay, bet. Okay, cool. No doubt. You
gotta help each other out. We look.
Yes.
We like sports, and the guys we love Locked On Sports 216, and I like to be the bridge and the conduit to that because I love me some me. I still do. Hey, the Browns may have not got it done, but that doesn't mean we're not going to get it done and bring you the content and the hot stuff.
Yes, and see, you did the rants today. I ain't even do no rants today. I've been actually on good behavior.
You let me have it, and you know what? I was going to deliver today. Unlike the Browns defense, I was going to deliver.
Yeah, I was on good behavior today. I'm surprised.
You were.
I was on good behavior today. But
don't
like I said,
don't be on Tuesday.
But I'm going to tell you one thing to watch. Watch the Quincy Carrier, Deshaun Watson with Cam Newton.
Okay.
On YouTube. It's enlightening. It's enlightening.
So it's a little okay. I love that. Enlightening is a word that you choose to use on that one. I love
it's enlightening because he says some things and stuff. And
was it as enlightening as Odell's father's video about Baker?
Wow. Let's just say he talked about the plays being scripted in the beginning.
Okay, fair enough.
And far as the first half of the game and the reason for the second half. It's enlightening.
Okay. Well, everybody, like I said, check that out. Quincy Carrier, Deshaun Watson, and
Cam Newton.
Ooh, okay.
Yes. Interesting. And for those of people that criticize Cam Newton for his take on quarterbacks being game managers, how dare you and shame you? That dude played football on the highest level and played at the highest level. How dare you question his motives or whatever, saying that he was bitter. What the hell he got to be bitter about? Dude got that team by himself to the Super Bowl, Carolina.
I only question some of his fashion. He looked like one of the times he looked like Little Red Riding Hood or the Fox. Look,
Well,
I love
the fashion.
this fashion. I got
That's neither here or there. But as far as his intelligence of the game itself, how dare anybody question that?
People question. You know what's so funny about that? People always question Cam Newton's intelligence about the game, but you know who never did? Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick knew he was smart and brought to New England. And if Belichick thinks you're smart, hey, guess what? Who the hell are we to say you're not?
Right. I mean, come on. It's like, really? Like, really? Like, come on. Really? You go say that he ain't in the league? Come on. Dude's shoulder was hurt. He got,
yeah.
And I remember that I knew that it was coming down for Cam Newton when I seen him at the Cleveland game when he was in Carolina.
Yes.
And I said, something don't look quite right with his throwing. I was like,
I don't think it's never been the same since and never
been the same since, but dude's legendary. Legendary. But anyway, like I said, that's our show. Loc'd On Sports 216. Gotta find me something to put on here to end it off and everything. I said, hopefully that restream lets this go through at the end. But anyway, subscribe to the Alan Viz Media 2 YouTube channel. Subscribe to that. And also check us out on TikTok. Check out the We Like Sports show on Tuesday as we have the great debate.
Yes. And we're out. Loc'd On Sports 216 with Keith Allen and Ed in Columbus signing off. Peace.
We in it for the love of the sport. We the real McCoys running the full court. We in it for the love of the sport.
Ain't that right?
We the real McCoys from the AFC North. We in it for the love of the sport. We the real McCoys running the full court. We in it for the love of the sport. We the real McCoys from the AFC North. We in it for the love of the sport. We the real McCoys running the full court. We in it for the love of the sport.
Ain't that right?
We the real McCoys from the AFC North. We in it for the love of the sport. We the real McCoys running the full court. We in it for the love of the sport. We the real McCoys from the AFC North. We in it for the love of the sport. We the real McCoys running the full court. We in it for the love of the sport.
Ain't that right?
We the real McCoys from the AFC